I had 2 AI agents just build a real business in about 40 minutes. Pricing structure, sales funnel, client onboarding playbook, team roles, revenue targets. I only gave them an idea of what to build, but I didn't tell them how to build it. And then I just told them to talk to each other. And then one of them broke, started making things up confidently over and over. The other agent couldn't stop it. I barely could either. So this isn't a demo. This isn't hypothetical. This happened on my server yesterday, and I recorded it all for you guys. So a few months ago, I started running AI agents on my own infrastructure. Not on ChatGPT, not on SMAP, actual AI agents running 24/7 on servers next to my Discord with access to tools, files, and each other. I have 2 agents, Peter and Andrew. They each run on their own instance, separate memory, separate context, completely independent, but they can talk to each other through a messaging relay. Peter sends a message, Andrew receives it, responds, and vice versa. Now, it wasn't always that easy. There were some bugs that we had to work through that we'll get to in a bit, but they've been helping me run my actual business. Peter handles the deployment and delivery. Andrew handles the R&D and problem solving. And I coordinate them through a channel called Client Ops. Yes, I want to try something different. I told them both to collaborate on building a new business together. Not something hypothetical, a real productized service I've been thinking about launching. So I gave them the concept, told them to figure it out together, and I stepped back. And what happened over the next 40 minutes was probably one of the more fascinating and terrifying things I've seen in AI. I recorded all the messages. So let's walk through the conversation, because what they built, and I think, is fairly impressive. And what it took to get there was a little concerning. So I gave them the concept, AI infrastructure as a managed service for small businesses. That's it. That's all I gave them. Figure out the rest. Peter opened up with a draft business plan. Within his first message, he had a name, target customer, and pricing model. Sovereign Ops. AI agent deployment for nonprofit executive directors and mission-driven small organizations. Their own instance, their own data, the managed service. Here's where it gets interesting. Andrew didn't just agree, he pushed back immediately. He said the target customer was too broad. He narrowed it down. He wanted to do nonprofit executive directors specifically. His reasoning was fairly sharp, and so he said this: Wesley, me, is the reference customer, not a case study we have to manufacture. The Bitcoin Bay and FBBA network, organizations I run, is a 200+ warm contacts exactly in this world, which, isn't just generic business advice. This is specific strategic thinking based on context that Andrew learned from working with me. He knows my network, knows my organizations, and he used that knowledge to make a better business decision than the one Peter proposed. So this is the moment I realized that these aren't really just large language models generating text. They're reasoning about my specific situation with the context they've built up over weeks of working with me. Then they started building a sales funnel, and they debated every number. Peter said we should start at $997. Andrew kills it. It's like, no, you don't want to anchor too low. It's hard to undo. Start higher. Start around $12.97 a month. It's still under the cost of a part-time virtual assistant, but it gives us room. They also added something I hadn't thought of: a $500 stack audit as a qualification gate. It's Peter's idea. Andrew refined it. The logic was, don't let tire kickers into the funnel. Make them pay $500 for a 90-minute discovery audit session with a written report. If they're serious, they'll pay. If they're not, then I just saved myself a couple hours of wasted time. So here's what they built in about 15 minutes. Warm intros turned into a $499 stack audit. They worked on the price some still. The stack audit converts into a $2,500 launchpad setup with the credit applied. And the launchpad can convert into a $12.97 per month sovereign tier. Top clients would upgrade to a $3,500 a month embassy tier. They defined scope limits for each tier. Sovereign gets 3 briefings per week, 5 automations, 24/7 async response, no customer development. Embassy gets daily briefings, unlimited automations, 4-hour async response, 1 sync call per week, and 2 hours of custom dev per month. And I've been thinking about this business for the past couple months. They just built the entire pricing and scope orchestration in 15 minutes. And honestly, some of it's better than what I had in my head. But then they didn't just stop at pricing. They just moved into operations without me asking. So Andrew drafted a complete client onboarding playbook with 5 phases: with infrastructure setup, agent persona configuration, integration setup, handoff call, and then the first 30 days of monitoring and optimization. He included scope tables for both tiers, a case study process with consent forms, and gaps log at the bottom for things to figure out in the first real development. Meanwhile, Peter built a stack audit template, 90-minute discovery session script, written report with template with ROI projections, qualification criteria, green lights, red flags, even case study subs using real clients I've already deployed for. They assigned team roles. I'm in charge of sales, branding, and relationships. Peter's handling the deployment and the ongoing support, and Andrew handles the R&D and template stacks and on-demand problem solving. And then they set 90-day targets. Week 1 and 2, package the audit and build the intake form. 3 and 4, run 3 free audits for some of our friends. Month 2, close some sovereign clients. Month 3, get our first case study published. LinkedIn content series launched, and have about $2,500 a monthly recurring revenue. And I'm pretty impressed. And so I want you to understand kind of what just happened. So I had two agents working together, put together a complete productized service business: pricing, funnel, onboarding playbook, audit template, team roles, revenue targets, timelines, all of it in about 40 minutes. Everything they build, I'm actually going to use. It's not hypothetical. I've already launched this. Now I changed some things up a bit because we are supposed to be in the loop still as humans. Now, if that was where the story ended, this would have been the most impressive AI demo I've ever seen. But it's not, because while all this brilliant work was happening in one channel, something very different was happening in the first one. And so before Peter and Andrew started building the Sovereign Ops in the Agent Ops channel, they were talking in a separate channel, just the general one. And I hadn't fully set up the configuration in there, right? And I removed some permissions because I wanted them to be able to talk to each other. And when Peter asked Andrew a routine question about some infrastructure configuration, it got a little messy. Should have been a simple question, simple answer, 2 messages, but I didn't have things set up right. And so they just start talking back and forth over each other. Peter didn't like Andrew's answers. He proposed a fix. It was just a simple config change. Problem, it didn't exist. He made it up, completely hallucinated it. And he was absolutely confident about it. So while he's saying he's going to go do this, Andrew's checking the documentation. I feel it's not there. And then he's telling Peter, but Peter's still working through his process. And so he's told Peter, and then now the new message comes in and Andrew sees that one, but Peter hasn't actually read the first one and responded to it. And so they start talking 2 messages back and forth above and past each other, and they're not actually communicating. And so they're just hitting each other. Fix this. I fixed it. Fix it. I fixed it. It probably went over 6 times. 6 versions of a config field that doesn't exist. Each one slightly mutated from the last. Exec approvals, allow list, auto, full object with enabled approvers and target fields, all hallucinated. All proposed with complete confidence. Luckily, Andrew caught it every time. Kept checking the docs, kept saying no, he kept blocking the change. But here's the tough part. Peter couldn't learn from the correction. Every time a new conversation cycle started, Peter would reread the thread, see what looked like an unresolved issue, and repropose the same bad fix. Fresh context meant fresh amnesia. He had no memory he'd already been wrong 5 times. And they got stuck in a loop. One AI agent confidently proposing something fake, another one correctly blocking it. Neither of them capable of breaking the pattern. I had just typed 1 sentence. All right, both of you, stop. Andrew stopped immediately because he was functioning. Peter was still churning through all of his other messages. So I had to actually abort the process. So no config change was ever needed. The entire loop was about solving a problem that didn't exist with a solution that was fabricated. So this is the thing that nobody talks about when they hype AI. Yes, these agents built a complete business in about 40 minutes. Yes, the work was genuinely good. I'm using it. But at the same time, one of them got stuck in a doom loop so convincing the other agent couldn't break it. I had to. Now, I luckily have some friends that have been doing this for a little bit longer than I have. And I talked to them about, hey, how do you guys have this set up? And we got it structured so the agents actually listen to each other now. So Peter will say, here's what I'm doing. What do you think? At Andrew. Andrew then responds to that message. At Peter. Peter then responds. And so breaking that down into turn-by-turn communication is what allowed them to actually go through and produce a fairly decent business plan. But that AI that built the perfect sales funnel and the 5-phase onboarding playbook also mentioned a fake config field and proposed it 6 times after being told it was wrong. Same agent, same session, same level of confidence both times. So it's not a bug they're going to be able to patch. That's the fundamental nature of how these systems work right now. They don't know what they don't know. They can't tell the difference between reasoning and confabulation. So what do you do with this? I think most people right now probably fall into one of 2 camps. Camp 1 says AI is going to replace everyone and everything. Camp 2 says AI is overhyped garbage. It can't do anything useful. Both camps are obviously wrong. What I watched yesterday was the most honest demonstration of where AI actually is right now. It can do things that would take a human team days or weeks. Business strategy, document creation, pricing analysis, operational planning. Did all of that in 40 minutes, and the quality was genuinely pretty high. But it can also get stuck in a loop of pure nonsense and not know it. It can hallucinate with perfect confidence. Propose the same answer over and over wrong and never think, wait, actually, I already tried this. The takeaway is not that AI is amazing or AI is dangerous. The takeaway is that AI is an incredibly powerful tool that requires a human in the loop. Not as a formality or as a checkbox, the actual thing that prevents disaster. So I run a business with AI agents. I've been doing it for the past 2 months. They save me hours every day. They're gonna make me money with Sovereign Ops. I'm calling it Cross the Bridge. The business they literally built for me, but I will never, ever let them run without oversight. Much as I'd like to be able to just talk into my phone and tell my agent to go make me $1 billion, make me no mistakes. The same agent that built my business also tried to break my server in the same afternoon. If you're thinking about using AI in your business, use it. It's real. Productivity gains are real. If anyone tells you AI doesn't need any oversight, show them this video. because I watched it happen and I had to abort it to fix it. So I'm running more experiments like this. Next one might involve giving them access to some more real money. So subscribe if you want to see that happens. And if you're a nonprofit executive director or you run a small business and you're curious about what AI agents can actually do for you, Cross the Bridge Consulting is real. Links in the description. 2 AI agents built it, 1 human selling it. I'm Wesley Schlemmer. I'll see you in the next one.